Alrighty, guys. Looks like I'm live. Hey, what a great show. Merry Christmas. Please subscribe. I'll just get that out of the way. This is the Q&A after show from the Wednesday live show. And yes, next Wednesday will be my final appearance on the regularly scheduled Wednesday show. It's just a dollars and cents issue. It is not growing the channel. It is not building things out the way I need it to in order for it to be viable for me. So unfortunate, but hey, here we are. Um, I will still have tons of great content, and I'll be focusing more on deep analysis of all sorts of things. Deep analysis on things that don't necessarily grow the channel. Deep analysis on things that are valuable, even if to a smaller audience. Real quick, notice there is a poll up. What is the most important product of the year? And we can see it bouncing around a bit. So get your vote in while you can. Okay, we're going to start with the comments from the before times. Yes. I wonder if today is time of day pricing at PGE, for the holiday. Well, they got to get their Christmas bonuses somehow, make it more expensive. Yeah. Waymo needs more LiDAR. Sure, absolutely it does. Yeah, that would definitely solve everything. They should put LiDAR on other people's cars too. Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing is we've seen manufacturers in China scale back on how many LiDAR they're using, but also a number of them have scrapped LiDAR entirely. And now we've got Rivian with one LiDAR. And I've seen people say, well, this is fine. This is fine because once they admit that they don't need it, they can just stop using it. And I go, yes, but they're planning to sell like 1,000,000 cars a year. They said this is a few $100. So even if it's $200 and you're selling 1,000,000 of them, that's $1 billion over 5 years in LiDAR sensors you did not need. Mm. Mm. All right. Tesla bags are packed. See you in 2030. Oh, yeah. Thumbs up. That's a thing you're allowed to do. Please give me a thumbs up. Heard that Santa got an electric sled this year. Get the kids to bed earlier. Santa might get here too soon. Valuable. Valuable. I tried to convince my kids that the tradition is once they have their Santa epiphany, it is their job to try and convince the parents that Santa's real. So they should dress up as Santa. They should come in and, you know, be Santa. I also considered, I have a friend here in town who looks enough like Santa that I was going to have him just show up as Santa uh, because it's funny. And they'd be like, hi, Hugh. Nope, I'm Santa. Ho, ho, ho. I just thought it'd be funny, but his health is not doing great. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. I mean, Ron could be Santa too, but it's a long drive for him. Shot collars on the reindeer. Yeah, let's do it. A brand new human, model 20, year 25. Yeah, yeah. They depreciate so quickly. Hardware version male. Got him just before the end, the first quarter, the 21st century. I like to refer to things as before the turn of the century. I don't say the 90s anymore. I like to say, we went to I was at this concert. It was before the turn of the century. I tried saying in the previous millennium, but didn't have the same impact. I think Cybercab is coming with no person in the vehicle. Yes, I agree. It's just not big enough to have two people sitting elbow to elbow with a stranger, I think. And what would they be doing? Although, what is the safety hitchhiker doing in Austin? They're not at the controls. All they can do is poke a button and say, here's a note for later. Wonder if anyone could get a job to be a remote FSD supervisor from home and what training it would take. So I think they would start you in the office, make sure you're good, and then permit you to transition back home. But I think that's the solution. It's very easy to monitor how much work you're doing when you're doing something at a screen like that. So I think that would. But how much training is needed? What are they doing? We don't know. Last time I watched Lights, I was able to set autopilot to 2 miles per hour. I wonder if that works now. Huh, if you set it back into autopilot, because you can toggle, if you have FSD, you can toggle back to FSD. Might have to check that. Any way you enjoy the lights is okay. Just don't block traffic. Yeah, the people in my town are awfully good about that. Most of the town has roads sufficiently wide that there's parking space in front of the houses, not blocking. And the one with the crazy light show doesn't, but we all looped up the hill and turned around and pointed back down. I mean, you can still get by, but and the owner of the home, I assume, is a police officer because he always has a cruiser parked out front in his driveway. So I think if it was a legal concern or a safety concern, he'd be the first to let us know. Well, let's see here. So what Brian is saying is that the house is creepy, not the visitors. Yeah, it's not creepy to pull up in front of my house, but we are the spooky ones. That's correct. Yeah. And of course I said yes. And that was to both, Kevin. There are so few channels on YouTube where you can hear this type of conversation. I think so. I think that's true. We know what you meant about pressing the gas pedal, kind of like filming with no film or taping. And footage. I gathered footage. We don't actually measure digital video by the foot. No, that is reserved for fruit now, is how we measure things by the foot. So it is the same principle. Are we rolling? Rolling? Yes, we're rolling. Where are the induction chargers and cleaning robots? 3D Age Design wants to know. And I did mention that I have a video coming on that. I'm pretty sure that's tomorrow. If not, it's the following day. That addresses that. But the short answer is the cleaning robots, those are coming later. Those are not a first wave priority. Those are that's my phone saying, my watch saying its battery is dying because I didn't charge it. It is not a first wave priority problem. You can clean them at service centers. And for the charging pads, I think you'll just line them up around the back of the service center because they're just charging pads that go on the ground. For that matter, any L2 charger that the service center has, and they all have a bunch, those could be, you could just plug a charge pad into that. It's L2. It's not L3, so it'll be fine. And I said, yeah, video's coming tomorrow. Same shirt and hat. You'll see. Unless it's the one from the other day. But I don't remember which one's first. So it's with Mark. I think. No, it's with Herbert. So it is tomorrow. I think. You'll see. Nick hasn't been impacted by the miracle of fatherhood at all. I think that's a sarcastic comment. It appears he does. It does kind of change you. Grandkids too. Nick Kangaroo. So cute. They have all the battery packs for the Lightnings. They're no longer selling. Use those as stationary. Kind of. That's kind of what they intend to do. Not the packs, but the cells that would have made up the packs. But there's more to it than that. Tesla makes it look easy. Tesla makes everything look easy. It's not. Ordered my power walls in August. Tesla hasn't delivered. So all on hold with the 30% tax credit gone. That's frustrating. I met a gentleman a few years ago, 2-3 years ago in Mexico who was on vacation, and he's a contractor who installs Tesla power walls. I said, oh, business must be booming. He said, you'd think. We just can't get them. We just can't get them quick enough, reliably enough. Very frustrating. Power walls are made at Giga Nevada. They have, the cells. What's the holdup? The margin is fantastic. Move them. So I don't know. This is in response to someone who doesn't show up under Top Chat because instead of doing all, which includes things that are clearly spam and trolls, this is top. You need to go drive a Tesla for an hour and then come back and share your opinions. You're obviously short on experience. There were a lot of real troll comments on Herbert's channel. People saying Waymo had a way better year than Tesla. Well, one of those companies made a profit. So your opinion is not valid. Unbelievable that Fred bought a Tesla. Yeah, everyone has a price, and his is very low. So on the plus side, maybe when he gets his Roadster, he'll stop being so insufferable. I doubt it. He's got a mean streak a mile wide and a thirst for vengeance that's insatiable, unquenchable, I guess. Don't be knocking my Dodge Challenger. Hey, it's a cool car. I enjoyed its appearance. Challenger was the one. Was Challenger in Breaking Bad? It's fun. It's amazing that I can't believe that they made a, a muscle car with over 700 horsepower. That's mental. Amazing. Challenger will be the last of the really cool muscle cars. Yeah, I would say that Corvette is very cool, but I don't think it qualifies as like an American muscle car because it looks very European. I think it's very cool, but had my highest monthly maintenance expense this year, $75 for wiper blades. I'm going to wait on the cabin air filters until the new year. Those are nice wiper blades. I haven't had to replace any of mine yet. I'm at 2 years on the Model Y. DeLorean. I would plan my trips around test drives. By the way, thank you to, there was another one as well. Let me see if it's up here. Welcome, new member Dankstern, and also welcome to new member Hi Hey Rube. Hi Hey Ruby? I don't know. Thank you so much for joining. There will be a ton of new content in the new year. That is reserved for members only, but I do have a way for non-members to see it. It'll be a 4-prong system. If you support me off platforms or in other ways, or you're just someone who really needs it and can't afford it, there will be a mailing list which gets all of the deeper analysis that doesn't go out publicly. I think Tesla hits 600 the week after Valentine's Day. Nice. I'm not a financial advisor. If I was, I'd just have you send me your money. That's it. That's the key. Will Optimus celebrate Festivus? No, because Optimus will have no grievances. So why is Nick in his chef's apron? Looking forward to seeing the news clips during the Optimus Abundance future. Breaking news, White House Optimus bots were hacked. They're refusing to access the restrooms. Okay. More likes needed. Yes, what are we up to on likes, you guys? Let me know because I can't see them where I'm at. Nick has a pretty rad baby carrier. Did the horse say nay when they were replaced by cars? There's an old Far Side. I tried to pull it up, but I couldn't find it quick enough. For the first time in as long as anyone could recall, a member of the horse parliament voted in the affirmative. I think it was Far Side. Great. We have send Nick to humor masterclass. I love it. There are people who, like a year ago, there was someone on X said, "Who is the funniest Tesla personality?" And a lot of people said Stephen Mark Ryan because apparently they've never seen my show. But I did well. I did pretty well on that one. Very best wishes for the holidays were terrific. And Papa Nick looks like he's in heaven. Daddy jokes are on deck. What are my timeline estimate for GigaFab? Well, it hasn't started, and I don't believe it will. I think it will not. I think it is too ambitious of a project, and considering the struggles they've had with Dojo and with 4680, this challenge is at least 2 orders of magnitude more complicated. I'm not saying Tesla couldn't make chips. I'm saying they couldn't make them at a price and performance level that would make sense. I think they'd be wise to instead just partner like they did with Panasonic on 2170 cells in Nevada, partner with Intel or NVIDIA or whomever that actually, not NVIDIA, TSMC, someone who actually makes the chips. They've already got a partnership with Samsung. Move forward with that. That would be my guess. Chats from this show. Again, thank you to the 2 new supporters. Appreciate it. Has anyone heard of Tesla's hiring remote operators? And if you do it from home, we did address that. You mean Robotaxi? Yes. Although wouldn't it be something if you had an emergency opportunity in your car where your car could as maybe a premium service, get unstuck or something. Let's see how the poll's doing. Wow, that's pretty overwhelming. So 26 is the year of Robotaxi, according to you guys, meaning Optimus in 27. Let's find out. Wouldn't it be better if we downplay lower consumer insurance costs for FSD in Europe and instead stress that it'll reduce insurer expenses? The insurance companies lobby hard and can push the FSD. What was with all the Tesla haters and Waymo lovers? Yeah, there were a lot of comments on Herbert's channel about how awesome Waymo is. And it was lies. It was outright lies. Crazy. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Wanted to ask what your predictions for annual revenue and profit for 26. So I don't analyze the financials as much. I've tried in the past. My models do not hold up. I took that to mean that I shouldn't bother doing it because if my models, because I tried modeling it, I tried writing backwards looking ones and making them work. And then I used that to apply to the next quarter and said, I'm not going to publish my numbers because I'm not sufficiently confident in them. And then the new numbers came out and mine were very wrong. So wrong. I was like, yeah, I just can't do it. I didn't realize that that's how most financial numbers are. They're really dartboard guesses, educated dartboard guesses that are generally very wrong. So while I could do that and be right in the pack with everyone else, I do not find it to pass my personal degree of required scientific rigor. So revenue and profit for 26, my guess for both is up. Megapack will make up a larger portion of the revenue pie, and Megapack has fantastic margins. So that will help. We will see more FSD revenue, and that is practically pure margin. Those will help bolster the bottom line, while margins may be a little compressed on strictly automobiles. I should be a guest on Invest Answers. We were on a show together, and I reached out to him afterwards to ask if he'd come on, and I think my DM ended up buried in other DMs. So I have not heard back from James, unfortunately. Let's see. Got this guy going here. What was with all the Tesla hate? Oh, yes. So up is my answer. Yay. Mm-hmm. They never visited San Francisco during a power outage. Yeah. Yeah. But has Waymo visited San Francisco during a power outage? Because it doesn't seem like they have. Otherwise, we'd have known about this problem. When I worked at Washington Mutual, we had a new loan system. We had tried to hire a company to build it for us, to buy something, and the price that they were offering was outrageous. And so instead of using their system, we decided to build it in-house. How hard could it be? The answer was outrageously hard. It would have been much cheaper to use theirs, and what we got was bodged together so badly. And the first day they rolled it out, at 6 o'clock, when all of the terminals shut off for the day because it is the end of banking, the system crashed entirely because not one tester had ever stayed past 6 p.m. Lazy bastards. James in the house. First rule of forecasting is whatever you forecast, it will be wrong. James and I know a thing or two about being wrong. Unfortunately, he's got Loki to guide him, and all I've got is my hat. This is a sorting hat. It has declared that I am Hufflepuff. So I don't know. I don't know how that works. I'm new here. Shouldn't be drinking. Yeah, you got that one. I popped that in the private chat. I said, Nick, you shouldn't be drinking champagne if you're breastfeeding. And I was hoping, I kept watching to see if he was going to notice it, and he didn't until Herbert shared it with him. Now that we've seen the risk and damage to the Tesla brand and stock price if Elon gets involved in politics, what is the risk that it happens again with the midterms coming up? Will he do it again? Well, I'm confident he will put money into politics, but I suspect he'll do so more quietly. I don't think He's under the illusion that his appearance carries the kind of cachet that would necessarily help. Um, and it certainly hurts the stock. And now that the new compensation plan is in place, stock price is once again important to him. That's my personal guess. I did see comments, I don't think on this show, but the other show, saying Elon realized he can't drain the swamp because the swamp is the swamp. And I do think that that's a realization he's come to. He likes to approach problems in a digital way, like an engineer would. And politics is an analog business, an analog game. Someone did say, yeah, but Nancy Pelosi's the best trader ever. My returns beat hers, and I don't have any information. So, not very many members of the House and Senate outperform the market. A startling number do not outperform the market, like the vast majority, 85, 90%, have returns worse than the market. So I've seen a lot of conspiracy theories about that. There might be a case or two that are valid, but I don't know. I haven't seen much evidence of very many very good trades based on that. Turn off the heater. It's not a smoke alarm. That's my heater because I am chilly. Huggos. We need FSD in Israel. Okay. I need LiDAR for walking around. Me too. When am I going to get my laser eyeballs upgrade? Never too much LiDAR or cowbell. Words to live by. I just need more cowbell. I got a fever. My Christmas wish is that Elon stays away from DC. That would be helpful. What is or was the name of your comedy channel? It's still there. You could probably find it on YouTube by looking up 10. Let me just check. Because it might be right here. There was a time when they really, really wanted you to change it to your personal name. And yeah, if you on YouTube search 10K Zebra, the number 10, the letter K in zebra, you'll find my face at the top of the search results. And that was my channel. And yeah, some funny stuff on there. Some not so funny. Who knows? Let's see. Yeah, they demonetized it like a year or so ago, and I was very frustrated. And I reached out to the community and said, "Hey, they're about to demonetize it. If you guys could help." And then genuinely stupid people jumped in and said, your YouTube channel's failing," thinking that I was talking about this channel. I'm like, no, that's my old comedy channel. I'm just sad about it. Like, oh, you can't even stay monetized. I'm like, wow. Not, and this is, by the way, another content creator who was saying this. But he's a real dumb a-hole. And I can say that because he never watches my channel. He'd be smarter if he did. Let's see. I think semis might include cheap LiDAR for fog conditions. Can mark my words. LiDAR can't see through fog. So I don't know why they would do that. LiDAR is great for space, not for roads. LiDAR is really great for space. Depth perception in space is very difficult. It's very difficult. Is there an electric heated coffee mug you can plug into a USB port in your car? I don't drink my coffee fast enough. It gets cold before I finish it. I don't know. I'll refer to everyone else in the chat on that. Thumbs up again for the after show. LiDAR and vision operate on the same physics principles. Light bouncing. Elon designed the LiDAR for Dragon. I think he knows what he's talking about. Yeah. Very merry Space Christmas. Prayers for your Santa friend. Yeah. He has completed all of his chemo and whatnot, and it is now just a matter of time. Um, it happens. He's a great guy, but different kind of vision to humans, all photons. Back in the 1900s, things were cheaper. Yeah, back before the turn of the century, when I was already an adult, when my insurance had already gotten as cheap as it could due to my advanced age in the 1900s, back in the 20th century. We don't shoot lasers from our eyes. Well, in this economy, come on. What do you perceive as the biggest risk for Tesla, aside from key man risk? And what do you think is the first quarter with 20% earnings per share growth year over year? Um, so I'm not sure how to answer the second one. Biggest risk other than key man? Hmm. Hmm. I mean, it's not the competition. It's not regulation. Um, I guess in terms of short-term risk, it would be some kind of very expensive recall that impacts a third or more of vehicles. Like if they discovered all 2170 cells need to be recalled, that would be a risk. I don't think it's a realistic risk. Uh, I suppose, yeah, I don't know. I suppose competition, being serious, is Tesla's biggest long-term risk. Though so far, Tesla's managed to never rest on their laurels. When they had the Super Bottle, their new heat pump system, it was amazing. It was revolutionary. It was best in class. And within a year and a half, they'd replace it with the Octavalve because it was better. If it was me, I can't help but think I'd say, okay, done, solved, Super Bottle. We got that. Let's move on to the next challenge. But the HVAC team was like, we can do better. And they did. What is my favorite Tesla topic to cover and why? Products, new products, products I can see, products I can get to. When the Cybertruck came out, I spent years trying to get a chance to see it unfruitfully. And then when it became part of the exhibit at the Peterson Museum, I went there opening day and I got to see it. And I found, I don't remember, 7 things about it that no one else had seen before. Thousands and thousands of people had seen that damn car. And I was the first to notice them when I went to the shareholder meeting this year and saw just the Cybercab elements, the wiring harness and the motor. I was able to uh, deduce new things that no one else had caught, even though there were hundreds of people who took the tour that day. When I saw the closer to release candidate of the Cybercab at Santana Row last week, I saw things that others did not. So it's when that's where I really thrive, is when I can get in front of a product, and even more so when I can ask questions. But the questions aren't necessary if I have the exhibit in front of me. That's what I love doing. I guess a second would be pulling things together to form a narrative. When I find a story, I just dig. I just dig and dig. So someone had asked me, what does your research search history look like? I say, well, look at the videos I've released over the last 3 days, and then imagine me trying to dig into each of those stories, and that's what you'll find. So, yeah, got to run. Okay, good, good. I'm going to go a little bit more because tis the season. Oh, let's see. I think Grok is going to be the connection to support, and likely it will know how it needs help before or at the same time as the rider and solve most problems. I really think so. I've been saying this for about a year that you don't need remote supervisors. You need just a vastly more powerful computer that's not in the car. If it gets to that weird, tricky situation, it just phones home and says, here's the last minute before I got stuck. How do I get out? And it'll tell it. Uh-huh. Let's see. Ooh, big jump. Let's see. There we go. I think Fred has a handler. I don't. I don't. I think Fred is unchained. I would love a YL. Me too. Will Waymo survive? Yes. Short answer is yes. Yes. There's room for competition, even when competition is more expensive. Um, People who want to sit in a regular looking car can still ride in a Waymo. And people who There is a market for people who despise Elon. On my recent road trip, I used non-Tesla superchargers, uh, electric era chargers specifically, to show whether or not they work. Spoiler alert, they work. I wouldn't say they're better. I don't think they're better at all. They work. Tesla superchargers also work. The Tesla supercharger handshake is a little faster. That's nice. The cables are lighter and more manageable at Tesla. That's nice. So, who are these things even for? Well, people for whom the route makes sense. There are people who will be traveling from A to B, and there isn't a supercharger in between because of their particular path. But it's also for people who despise all things Elon. Maybe you have a Tesla, you don't want to sell it, but you don't want to give them any more money. That is a real market. Would it be better? Oh, consumer insurance. We already answered that. Let's see. As per Elon a few minutes ago, a Tesla with no safety monitor in the car and me sitting in the passenger seat took me all around Austin on Sunday with perfect driving. Hmm. Yeah, I believe it. I don't think I need to mention the person by name, but they are the only bull that says Tesla will be flat a year. I'm assuming you disagree. I don't know. Tesla could be flat for a year. I We are so far out ahead of the price to earnings ratio that a quiet year would not be surprising. But there are some big things coming up. We could see a dip if SpaceX IPOs. There are people who would pull some money out of Tesla to put it in SpaceX. If that happens, maybe buy some Tesla. I don't know. Uh, the need, the requirement for chips for Mars, for where every device and person will use. Um, I mean, build a fab on Mars. I mean, that seems even more complicated. Um, I don't think anyone argues we don't need more chips. What I'm arguing is that the complicated nature of building chips is insurmountable. Um, when you look at China, the nation of China, they don't have one of these cutting edge chip fabs. They have the political will, they have the financial will, they have deep, deep engineering bench. Why can't they do it? And maybe they could, but it wouldn't be profitable. It'd be so expensive that it still wouldn't be worth it. That's possible. It's very, very difficult. And I'm not just saying that because I'm negative on Tesla. Obviously, I am not. I'm saying that because that's what the evidence points to. Just like I said, space-based data centers doesn't make sense because of the cooling issue. I now have new information. I'm able to say that it may make sense. The cooling issue may have been sufficiently mitigated. I've got some people I'm working to get an interview with who will help me explain that and show me some of the engineering firsthand in person. Do Waymo operate outside of the USA? Oh, that's a better question for all of you. Do they? I know they're looking to expand in Japan. I know they're looking to expand in London, but I'm not sure if they're currently offering rides outside the US. Uh, yeah, and some answers there. Not that I know of. Tesla should make drones. I don't think there's enough money in it. I think it's a very complicated, low margin business. Elon saved free speech. Yeah, he didn't. He didn't. He saved the kind of speech that he likes, but he stifled other kinds of speech. It's important to not get too crazy about it. Tesla needs to concentrate on their current products, not add more to the heap. I think that's a good idea. Stay close enough to your core competencies to, yeah, I think that's a good idea. There's a lot of things they've done. Is Megapack outside their core competencies? I'd argue no. I mean, it's batteries with the BMS with input and output. I think that's close enough to what they do. Not to be confused with Zebra Corner, of course. Mac is great. I wonder when a desperate full self-driving company just puts a plow on the front with a warning to stay clear. Hey, I'm coming. I'm a coming through. What are you gonna do? LiDAR is good for driving. Why are so many companies? If LiDAR is no good, I didn't know it said it's no good. But if it's critical for driving, why are companies that have used it in the past abandoning it? That's the bigger question. Um, it's a crutch. If you are not able to walk without a crutch, you need a crutch. But if now you're doing better and it's time to run, do you want 4 crutches? Will that help you run? No, I don't think it will. And LiDAR is a crutch. Just saying Merry Christmas to you too. They use, yeah, there it is. They use LiDAR as a crutch instead of developing an AI. Developing an AI is really hard, you guys. I think it's about time. Does LiDAR work in rain and snow? Not well. Not well. Um, let's see. 99 a month for FSD is so worth it. Hope they don't raise the price. I hope they lower it. I hope they lower it. I think the take rate would increase, but it has to increase by more than the lost revenue. It's tricky. 95% usage. Nice. All right. Even if Elon bought a functioning chip manufacturer, it would be useless without the engineers they have staying on. And it's not enough that you can recruit some or most of the engineers. You need every piece of the puzzle. It's tricky. It's really tricky. How long do you think Tesla will have to geofence robotaxis? There's a practical geofence. There will always be a practical geofence. But I think once they open it up to you and me, it could be, it could be, it could go wider. But then the question is, do we include all the dirt roads around where people live? I don't know. It's a good question. How will the ownership on Mars be organized? Wild speculations welcome. I think it'll be a company town. I don't think you'll own anything. Um, yeah. So will NHTSA first approve it or will Tesla just bypass it? Approval is already tacit in all states. Unless you have a specific thing to ban it, it's allowed. The companies like Tesla and Waymo have only gone into states that explicitly permit it, because if they go into one with simply tacit approval, it would be risky because they could turn around tomorrow and say, oh, actually, our state doesn't allow it. And then what? You've got stranded assets, you've got money you spent that you can't recover. So I think that's enough. Merry Christmas, one and all. I will be giving you more information about the upcoming shift in focus that is scheduled for the start of the year. One more live show with Herbert and Nick. Please join us next Wednesday for that. Thank you guys for hanging out. And everybody else, like, subscribe, do what you do. 'Tis the season. You are permitted to like and to subscribe. If I can find it, which I can't. Maybe I closed it. Here it is. You're permitted to subscribe. It would really help me out. Really, really help me out. And everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots when you've finally had your fill of nog.